Hi, this is Richard again. I got my vacuum box all done, and it's put together with JB Weld, all on top of the 3/4 by 1/4 inch aluminum framework, precision cut, all laid out. And I drilled holes in the other side of it and reversed it and routed it. That's how strong this is, the JB Weld. Then I put my sheet of plastic, which is vacuum formed, into this. And I have a hose down here, and it goes to my vacuum machine, and I pull a suction on it. Then I'm able to route it with my little jig assembly. I just got like a horse and a half power router, and I got a piece of wood attached to it, the bottom plate off of it. The router bit sticks through. One of the things you'll need to know with this router bit is to make sure this bearing stays well lubricated, and the only way to do that is to use Lucas gear oil. If you don't use Lucas gear oil, the bearing will burn up on you. The Lucas gear oil has a very sticky substance, and by taking the bearing and soaking it in it, or adding it to it as you're going along with it, you know, that makes a big difference. Nothing will stick to it, because if you're cutting this plastic, it melts, and the goo melts all over the bearing and ruins the bearing. That's what I found out after a lot of times doing this. And the other thing you'll need to do is, when you pull this little screw out of here, make sure everything's clean inside the hole and Loctite it in. If you don't Loctite that in, this little screw will come out and your bearing will fall off, and then your router bit will hit the aluminum sides. And once you Loctite this in, you can take a little torch and heat it to 400 or 500 degrees, and you'll be able to break that Loctite free and get that out of there. And the other thing is, if you're doing any of this stuff, this is a product to use right here. Right there is the one I use. And it's phenomenal. Whatever the consistency of the product is made out of, there's nothing like this on the market anywhere. We use this in our flying platform machine on our transmissions on this. And it's so slippery. It's like 1,000 times slipperier than anything else you'll ever handle in your whole entire life. By soaking that bearing in there, you'll find the plastic will not stick to the outer rim of this bearing and not stick to the top of this bearing here. So the outer rim and the top of the bearing, it won't stick to it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this panel, and it makes a big mess, but I'm going to cut the panel, then I'll take a video of the panel after it's cut. And that's my vacuum form backs for my fishing lights. But those are the key things you'll need to know. And without that Lucas gear oil, you're not going to be able to do much without that, because the bearing will fall apart on you. And regular motor oil or any other kind of oils you're going to use will not work. And I've done this over and over again, and that's what I found out, is that Lucas gear oil, once it penetrates that bearing, keeps the outside of the bearing nice and clean, and the plastic does not stick to it. Nothing sticks to it. And during the course of doing several panels, I'll put a drop or two back onto it. I'll turn it up like this and put a drop or two of it onto it. So, but anyway, let me cut this, and I'll show you how it looks when it's cut.